Oh, we're live. Yo, big up everyone. Welcome to the Football Eye Test channel. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the Atalanta versus Man United game. We're just going to be mentioning like how the players were, talk about the game, talk about the tactics in game. And obviously, I'm joined by a guest called Noel. Big up, Noel. Big up. Knows his stuff.
Hi everybody.
Big up everyone. Yeah.
Thanks for getting me on, Ahmed.
No worries. Noel knows his stuff. He's got pretty good ball knowledge as well, and he's probably got he knows probably more about the tactical game than me. So obviously it's good to be having a guest like that. So obviously for me, that whole game, I genuinely don't see obviously Ronaldo scored the winner goal, but I don't know about you, but I genuinely didn't have any emotion towards that game. I just didn't see anything about what to get excited about. So I don't know how you feel about the game. Like, what are your thoughts on the game, and who impressed you and who was really poor, or what do you think of the formation and the tactics in the whole game with the 3 at the back formation or 5 at the back he's trying to do?
The 3 at the back formation was actually working pretty decently for the first few minutes, where you could see everybody was in very, very tight and compact shape, but somehow or another we conceded a stupid goal. But if you think about it, I wouldn't exactly count that as a negative, because it's more down to a goalkeeping error than some flaw in the system or having players caught out of position. When we moved to the regular formation that Oli likes to play, it was shambolic. Atalanta could have held on to the lead if they weren't lumping balls
100%
forward every single time they got the ball. But
what's
Oli
crazy?
to his go on.
Yeah, what's crazy as well, by the way, I don't know if you realize this, but when we first kicked off, by the way, I think he instantly put 10 defenders behind the ball, and I was like, is he really gonna just put 10 men behind the ball and then give it to Bruno and then hoof it to Rashford to get in behind us? Is that really the game plan? Because I don't understand. Because for me, if you've got Ronaldo and Rashford both as the strikers, that's not going to work for me. Yeah, I know Ronaldo got the 2 goals, but for me, I don't know about the Ronaldo and Rashford link up, man. None of them can really hold the ball well. There's no ball retention in this team as well. He played, I think, what Scott McTominay, Bruno, and Pogba. I didn't really like that midfield for me. It was too attacking for me, and there was no one in that midfield can really necessarily hold the ball well apart from Pogba. But I think with Pogba, he has the tendencies to, when he holds onto it too much and then tries to shove people off with his strength.
He nearly gave away a penalty as well because of that.
That's if obviously I'm a big fan of his and he's my favorite player, but I think that's the one habit where I like him to cut it out a bit. He holds onto it too much. But I don't. The thing is with Pogba, I don't know if that's him just not knowing what to do in that situation, or maybe the lack of movement around him, or maybe he's just his concentration levels aren't really there, or maybe he's just not feeling it with United. So I don't know. What are your thoughts, obviously, with the whole situation? So
for the play that he almost gave away a penalty, if I'm not wrong, he didn't have any passing options directly in front of him. But in that situation, I because I've only watched the game once, so I didn't manage to catch a proper view of the whole pitch. But from first viewing, I don't actually think that play was as bad as some of the other simple mistakes he was making. Both McTominay and Pogba were in the midfield, and they were giving away pass after pass after pass that were just straightforward, simple passes. I remember McTominay gave away one off a free kick, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
He just passed it straight to the Atalanta player.
Yeah. The thing is with McTominay, by the way, for me, the thing is with McTominay, I really don't understand this. I don't know if you rate him, but for me with McTominay, he's not for me. He's not for me. I don't really see anything in McTominay's game that indicates that he's a good midfielder. On the ball, I don't think he's good when it comes to tight spaces. He doesn't really offer much. If it wasn't for his physicality, for me, he wouldn't even get. He wouldn't even be starting in the Watford midfield if that's the case. So I don't know about McTominay, man. I really don't like him. I don't know how you feel about McTominay, but yeah.
I don't think McTominay is a world beater, but I do think there's a solid player in him, and there's room to work with, because there are instances where you can see genuine quality from McTominay. Like against Atalanta, he hit a wonderful switch of the play to Luke Shaw off a free kick.
Yeah.
And I think his passing needs to be worked on. Sometimes it can be brilliant, like against Spurs, but sometimes it can be shocking as well, like against Atalanta.
Exactly. Yeah.
But he does strike the ball well.
Yeah.
And I don't get this not good in tight spaces, because I've seen him beat players and just strike through the midfield. I think it's more down to him just being played out of position, because he's more of a traditional central midfielder, just like Pogba is. But Oli is persisting in him, and he's trying to turn him into something that he's not. Whereas like, which I don't understand why he's doing that when he's got players like Matic who can fill in the deeper role in midfield better than McTominay can.
Thing is with McTominay, for me, like the thing is with McTominay, he's got all the attributes of a number 8. He doesn't have the attributes of a number 6. Like, I know he's big and he's tall, but I don't think he's good when it comes to tackling. I think he's really easy to get bypassed. Like, you can really dribble past him quite easily. And I just don't think he's intelligent enough to play the number 6 role. But as for McTominay, he's got a good strike on him. He can drive well with the ball. I think McTominay thrives when there's space. Because I feel like when you come across a low block and you've got McTominay, there's nothing much to work with. Because do you remember the Leeds game where I think he scored twice?
Oh yeah. I think he almost got 3 assists. He got 2 assists, but Martial should have finished one of those chances.
Yeah, and he played well against Leeds, and he also played well against Atalanta. Was it the first game I think he played well in? I think it was.
But then again, he did play well against Spurs, so it's very tough on McTominay. He's a bit of...
Yeah, sorry, go on.
The thing about McTominay is that every single one player he faces all raves about him, and the managers he's under all love him as well. Mourinho created a special award for him, but so I don't think he's necessarily a bad player. Within him, there's definitely something, but maybe maybe the coaches or players just see something that fans don't. Because when you're playing against somebody, you can generally tell like wow, this guy can do what he can get to headers that I can't, or he can get to challenges that you won't necessarily pick up when you're watching it in the ground or on TV or something like that. But or maybe the coaches just see him do really good stuff in training. I don't know, but there's probably something in there, but maybe he's just not showing it enough in the game, be it due to his own faults or faults of the coaching, maybe.
You don't feel like with McTominay, like he hides too much in games. Like he doesn't demand for the ball, like, because every single time. Go on.
When you reference this thing about hiding, I would also I would disagree with that, because when you look at the players around him, you get Aaron Wan-Bissaka on one side, Mason Greenwood on right just in front of him. You don't get the most passing options because Wan-Bissaka is just atrocious on the ball at times, and Greenwood's not naturally a right winger. He's more of a he likes to drift in.
He does, yeah.
Whereas if you look at someone like Fred on the other side, he can always make himself available, because when he looks to his right, when he looks to his left, he's got Luke Shaw, and whoever is playing on the left wing, be it Martial, Rashford, and or whoever, or Pogba, they are more natural left wingers than Mason Greenwood is. So this hiding thing, I wouldn't necessarily agree with.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Because you know what it is like. Because I always see, obviously, with a midfielder, you're meant to have like the most touches of the ball. For me, obviously, you've got your centre backs and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that. It
he
depends how
doesn't
you
get a
want
lot
it.
of touches in some games.
Yeah. Like
I've
I
seen
always
this
see
stat.
his. Yeah, that's true, man. Like I always see how many touches he's got in the game. I think there was one game where in the first half he averaged about 16 touches in one half, and I was like, I don't know about that. Because
Oh
obviously,
yeah, I think there was
Hmm.
one game where he got 33 touches in the whole match.
Oh my god, that was. You know what it is, by the way, with McTominay. It was good that you
Yeah.
mentioned Fred because I was going to talk about Fred. Obviously, he didn't play, but I know you're not really a big fan. He's not really a big fan of me either. But the thing is with Fred, like you said, maybe the reason why he's open and demanding, like, oh, I want the ball, because he's got better options than Scott McTominay. But the thing is with Fred, I feel like Fred's more of an asset to the team, if you know what I'm trying to say. Because I feel like
Oh yeah.
he's more of an asset. Like I'm not saying that he's as good as Kante. He's nowhere near as good as Kante, but he's got the similar playing style like a Kante. If you understand what I'm trying to say, like he's
Oh yeah.
energetic, covers the ground well. The thing is with Kante, the thing is with Fred, he doesn't really. He's quite reckless and he doesn't really. He's not really smart with when he has the ball. But maybe that's got to do with the lack of options he's got around him. Because I feel like there's too much responsibility when it comes to Fred. Like there's too much responsibility, and because when I know Brazil, obviously with Brazil, the football's a lot slower there, but he just looks like a different player there, and so do the most of our players. So I don't know if it's that bad. Like maybe the system is that shocking. So I don't know, man. Like obviously because I don't rate McTominay. Maybe, who knows? Maybe a new coach comes in, puts in a system, but then McTominay turns into like a pretty decent player. So I don't know, man.
Hang on, give me a
Yeah,
second.
no problem. No problem. So obviously, like talking about McTominay and Fred and like the midfield options, and I just don't personally think there's that much of a balance in the midfield. Like obviously, you've got Matic, who's pretty good in the number 6. You've got Donny van der Beek, who's pretty he's probably our most disciplined midfielder, alongside Matic. I don't think Pogba is that disciplined, and I don't think Bruno is. Actually, no, Bruno is definitely not disciplined. He wants to be a striker, for God's sake. But obviously, yeah. So that's why I wasn't really too happy with the Bruno, McTominay, and Pogba midfield. I wasn't too happy with that. But I don't know, man. Like the defense of this team, like you know what it is. Whenever you play a 5-back formation, you want to play with wing backs. I would have preferred. I don't know how you feel like this because I know you're a big fan of Luke Shaw as well. I just don't see it with Luke Shaw when it comes to playing as a wing back. Like I don't think I think Luke Shaw is a steady Eddie fullback. I think he's decent defensively and he's decent going. There's nothing about Luke Shaw's game that's like amazing that stands out. He's a good ball progressor. He carries the ball well, but he doesn't really bomb up and down like a Robertson, like a Tierney, like someone like that. Which is why I would have preferred Alex Tellers in a wing back. You know, sort of like how Marcus Alonso plays for Chelsea.
Yeah.
That's the sort of wing back I wanted to see, and I don't think Luke Shaw suits that wing back system. It's the same with Wan-Bissaka because once you've got wing backs, they're going to be receiving lots of the balls and they're going to have loads of touches. And giving loads of touches to Wan-Bissaka, who's probably our worst player in terms of like on the ball, I would have preferred to see Diego Dallo, even though he was not great defensively. I just feel like he offers us more. I don't know what your thoughts are. What do you think of like the wing back if he is going to persist with the wing backs?
On the wing back situation, if he decides to persist with it, I believe he can play Luke Shaw at left wing back, but he definitely cannot play Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right wing back.
Okay.
Because the thing about Luke Shaw is that Luke Shaw technically, with like his touch, his ability on the ball, and all that, super. But the thing about Luke Shaw is more down to the application than the actual ability. So it's more if you can get like if you remember, like sometimes when Luke Shaw controls a ball with his first touch, it's almost like a midfielder.
Yeah.
And his crossing accuracy is actually the highest in the league from fullbacks or just in general. I think, if I'm not wrong, it was higher than Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's at like 33% or something.
Oh, accuracy. Okay.
The problem with him is more about volume.
The volume. There
Like,
you go. Yeah.
If you're getting, but then again, is it also down to the left winger he's playing with? Because I always notice him overlapping and Rashford ignoring the pass, and he's trying to cut in and shoot or give another ball to Fred or something, or Bruno. And then sometimes I like when there's an overlap on, I don't notice him making the overlap. So it's very difficult about.
Yeah, he doesn't
Like
overlap.
when he overlaps, he gets ignored, and when he doesn't overlap, you're just wondering why he's not overlapping. Maybe is it because he knows Rashford's not gonna pass to him, or is he just lazy?
So who do you reckon
I
is
don't
our
know.
best? Who do you reckon? Like, obviously with Luke Shaw, because people tend to say that he's got a good connection with Rashford, but the thing
No,
is,
I don't agree.
I don't think he does. There, I was about to say, I don't think he does. I think like if we were to play like a Martial or a Jadon Sancho on the left wing, I reckon that would benefit Luke Shaw a lot because Sancho he always looks for the pass. He never cuts in, shoots. That's not how he plays. It's the same with Anthony Martial. He always looks for his teammates. Whereas with Rashford, he's more of a goal-hungry, selfish player. So
I do agree with you on that, but when I don't believe Sancho should be playing on the left because he's too right foot dominant to be playing on the left. Like when you look at left wingers who are right footed and play on the left, they generally have a very, very good weaker foot. So you look at when Martial plays on the left, he's putting in crosses with his left foot, his right foot, he's coming inside and doing stuff. But if you saw, like, whenever Sancho tries to receive, it's always with his back to goal, which is not exactly his strength because he sometimes doesn't control it well with his left foot, or maybe he's not confident on his left foot. But his strength should be facing up towards the opposition and either running at them or looking to play a pass somewhere else. But it's a bit like Hudson-Odoi with Chelsea. I have a quote from Tuchel, who just came out a bit today. Let me read it out. It's down here. Hudson-Odoi and Sancho are two very similar players. I'm sure you agree with that.
Yeah, they are similar in how they play. Both, yeah.
Thomas Tuchel said that we should try having two right footers on the same side and the same with the left side because we thought we could get into the half spaces behind their back five a bit easier and cross faster. Chelsea play with a back three, which is what we are trying to do. So if the Champions League winners are trying to play like that, why is Oli trying to deviate from that? I don't get it.
The thing is with Sancho, by the way, like I always thought, for me, I understand that your point is pretty valid in terms of if you prefer him to play on the right, but I always preferred Sancho off the left. And I know you said he's too like reliant on his right. He doesn't really have like a left foot. You're saying, which is you're probably right on that because I don't think I've seen him from his Dortmund days like come off the left and cross it with his left. He always comes with his right.
When you notice the way he dribbles, he's always like most of his touches are coming off his right foot as well. So it's very hard for him to go both ways, so it gets a bit predictable as well sometimes. It's like what Julian Nagelsmann did to Leroy Sané. Because under Hansi Flick, Sané was playing on the right.
He was always on the right.
Nagelsmann took one look at Sané after training and changed his position back to the left wing, and he's now ripping it up in the Bundesliga.
He is, yeah. He is. But the thing is with you know what, you make a good point with Sancho because the thing is with Sancho's game, I think people are confused. I think people when we bought him, they were confused on how we used to. They thought Sancho was like, oh, he's going to dribble past 5 players and then cross it in and then like score it top left or top right. The thing is with Sancho, and his game, like you said, his game is more similar to a Martial. Like obviously the two different plays, but they're kind of similar in how they play. Martial is more of a natural, pure dribbler, whereas with Sancho, to be honest, they're both creative players, but Sancho is always the one that gets the assist, whereas with Martial, he's always involved in the build-up play, but maybe might not get the assist. And obviously, you make a good point with Martial playing off the left because people don't realize this, but Anthony Martial's left foot is very good, by the way.
So it is.
It's very good. So he could. That's a good because I reckon. So what are you saying? Sancho off the right and Martial off the left, and then
Sancho off the right,
and then you and
Sancho. It depends on what you like to see. Like if you can have either one of Ronaldo or Cavani at 9, or you can end in with Martial, Sancho on the wing, and you've got Amad Diallo, who I personally think is fantastic. He's going to be a big star.
Yeah. You know what it is with Diallo? Do you think Diallo is more of a natural winger than like a Sancho?
Diallo is very, very two-footed, so I believe he'll be fine on any wing.
Because I think we've got a good player in our hands. Like he is proper. Like he's very good with it. Like, funny enough, like Atalanta gave us Diallo. Sorry, he was from Atalanta. So, but obviously with Diallo, I don't know why he's not getting the game time. Like I know he's young and he needs to fill out in terms of his body. Like, but then again, you've got loads of Premier League players who aren't like.
He's very strong, you know. Did you not see him shrug off? Was it Thomas or Castagne in Leicester to get the assist for Greenwood's goal?
Oh yeah, I remember that. That's Was that when
he
Greenwood
shoved him off like he wasn't there?
Yeah. Oh, Diallo. The thing is with these players that we're getting, like Diallo, Sancho, I just don't think Man United is a good place if you want to improve if you want to develop as a player. Like I feel like because you've also got players. Yeah, you've got players like Hannibal. I've not really seen much of Hannibal, but he's amazing when I've seen like
his cameo against Wolves. I was very impressed.
Oh, he looks so comfortable on the ball. He looks incredible. Yep. He looks so comfortable on the ball. It's like he glides with the ball. It's like he's gliding. And he's a proper player. I don't know where is he a midfielder with Hannibal? Is it attacking midfielder or?
I've only seen a couple of games in the youth for this year because I wasn't that interested in this youth team, but I just watched it because Ahmad came in and 40 million player who just played 100 minutes. I would watch a few games. He linked up with Hannibal brilliantly. I remember I sent you a clip of them against Blackburn, the under 23s.
I remember.
It's a brilliant piece of play. They were taking the piss.
they pretty much were. They were. The thing is, this is why, like, you either have football and IQ or you don't. Because like, when I look at Rashford, for example, obviously during the game, I feel like he's. What's the word? I think Rashford's too predictable. If you understand what I'm trying to say, like he always, obviously, because he relies a lot on his athleticism and his pace. But the thing is with Rashford, he doesn't really like. I don't think he's particularly good on the ball. I don't think technically he's good enough. I mean, he's okay on the ball, but I just feel like there was like a part where Rashford, where he was on the break and then he just passed it around the player and then tried to run past him. Like I feel like that's just too, like kick and run. Like he kicked the ball and run past. I feel like. I don't know, man. I feel like that's too predictable. And with Rashford, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know, man, if he's a good. I don't know. Like, I don't really rate him on the left that much. Like, I know the thing is with Rashford as well, he's got a very good strike on him. He's not the best of finishers, but he could strike a ball really well. He's obviously. I agree. Yeah, obviously he's quick. We know he's quick. He's scored a few goals for us this season. But I just feel like Rashford, his best position. Well, it's not even in the pitch. He's always off the bench. I feel like that's where
I agree.
Yeah. That's where
for me, you know what we touched on about Sancho being very one-footed. Rashford's even more one-footed.
Oh yeah, 100%. I've never seen him strike
left
a ball.
Foot is completely dead. Did you see against Atalanta? He's weak. He cannot hold the ball up to save his life.
He can't.
His first touch is abysmal at times.
It is.
His decision making is woeful. It's so bad. Like, with players like Wan-Bissaka, they aren't the best on the ball, but they make the right decisions.
Yeah.
So you can somewhat get away with it. Rashford's constantly running down blind alleys, and when people say he's a good dribbler, I don't understand it.
No, he's not a good dribbler.
When you think about good dribblers, right, the ball is always close to their feet. Rashford, exactly. Rashford is just like, it's so far in front of him. It's like he's running a marathon every time he's got the ball. You know when you play FIFA and you've got the right stick and you just spam it forward with your Mbappes and all that. That's what Rashford does every single game.
Yeah. Oh my days.
Even at Atalanta, he had a 1-2 opportunity. He ignored it. either that or he got played through the 1-2, but his touch let him down and he just ran straight into the opposition.
Do you think with Rashford, obviously, we both don't really particularly rate him. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's ever going to be world class simply because he doesn't have the fundamentals and the football IQ. But do you reckon this is a Rashford issue, or do you reckon this is just a coaching issue? Because I look at as bad as all he is, but the thing is, you look at a player like Martial, and you look at Diallo, and you look at Donny van der Beek, their decision making is quite good. And they're roughly same age as Rashford, but maybe younger or older. So I don't know, if it's a mixture of coaching and the Rashford issue, or it's just all on Rashford, or it's just all on Oliver. Because I feel like with Rashford, his game hasn't been developed since Louis van Gaal.
I agree, but there are some players who have very, very bad decision making, who become top players under top coaches because they are coached what to do. Like, I give you a really good example in Raheem Sterling. At Liverpool, Raheem Sterling's decision making was terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah. Under Pep, he got drilled and drilled and drilled. But the thing about Raheem Sterling is that he had pretty good fundamentals to begin with. Like, he could dribble the ball.
Yeah.
He basically can do mostly everything except finish at times. And
that was his issue.
Yeah, and Sterling's movement is one of the best in the world.
Oh yeah. In the box, his movement is very good, Sterling.
I did a thread on my old Twitter account on Raheem Sterling creating many of England's goals during the Euros just because of his movement. And the way he drags defenders out of positions is something special. But Rashford, he himself has very good movement.
What, in the box?
Not in the box, like around the edge of the box, or if the opponent's playing further up, he knows how to get in between the fullback and the centre back quite well.
Yeah, he does.
It's like the kind of most Salah run in between the
like a Timo Werner
and the centre. Yeah, like a Timo Werner. But the thing about Werner is that Werner has a much better touch, and Werner is not lazy like Rashford is. Rashford is so lazy. I cannot believe
he doesn't track back. Rashford. He doesn't track back.
It's not just about tracking back. He doesn't press. But I won't blame him for the pressing because he's not me. I read an article about United players not being coached to press.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that I can't really blame him for. But the thing about Rashford,
Timo Werner, I think Timo Werner, he's not. I don't want to say lazy because I don't really like calling footballers lazy. But I think that Timo Werner understands the wing role a lot better than Rashford. But I think Timo Werner on the ball is horrific. I think he's even worse than Rashford. Like I feel like he's, what's the word? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm not really sure about Werner on the. Yeah. It's like it's like Rashford but worse. But the thing is with Rashford, he has pretty decent technical ability, whereas with Werner, I don't see it at all with Werner. But he's not a great technical player, but he's very efficient.
The thing about Werner is that Werner's brain is light years ahead of Rashford, but in terms of the fundamentals of the game, like, he probably isn't the best, but
he's not now.
He does understand when he needs to run, when he needs to play the simple pass, when he needs to do whatever, or when he needs to press. His finishing, I have no idea why, but it's horrific now.
Yeah, it's horrific.
At Leipzig, he wasn't the best finisher either. He did miss. I think he missed like 30 big chances as well.
He was missing a lot of chances. He was missing a lot of chances. But the thing is, he was getting a lot of chances.
Probably not surprised that.
Yeah.
Because his movement is so good, he's rapid and he's a willing runner. He will always be a threat no matter what.
He's like a Dan James kind of.
He is. He is a better Dan James.
He's better than Dan James, 100%. But the thing I wanted to touch up on the centre backs. I wanted to know what your thoughts are for Maguire and Eric Bailly, because for me, we'll touch on Harry Maguire first, because I am done with this little useless centre back. I think he's useless. I don't think that anything Maguire offers us. I don't think he's good on the ball. I don't think he's good in terms of reading the game. I think he's one of the slowest centre backs I've ever seen in my life. And I don't know why he's not been dropped yet, because for me, Lindelof might not be this amazing centre back, but I think he's a good centre back. Lindelof, he just lacks the physicality. But I think Lindelof is better on the ball. His passing is better. His reading of the game is better, and he's faster than Maguire. So I think anyone that's next to Maguire, man, I think he's always been our weak link. I just don't see it with Harry Maguire. I just don't see it. What are your thoughts
on the subject of Harry Maguire and Bailly? I do believe that Maguire isn't anything special. He's a decent player, nothing else. Yeah. I never understood when people were calling him world class. But I don't understand how people like think he's like the worst centre back in the world or something like that. I'm more of in the middle on this, but I do believe that Maguire on the ball, he's better than Bailly.
Oh, and really?
You could see, okay. You could see it yesterday as well. Bailly was clearing things which could have just been, if he just taken a touch and passed it, we had another opportunity to attack. And the thing with Bailly, and I'm sure if you've watched even his best performances like against Villa Chelsea or Burnley, he's making fundamental mistakes which affect the build-up play. And when you in top level football now, like I'm not talking just about the Premier League in general, but like maybe the top 6 Champions League standard football, it is so important to have centre backs who are good on the ball, who can help you build and start your attacks. So you look at someone like City, their goalkeeper and their 2 centre backs are all fundamentally good footballers, and so much of their play comes through them.
That's true.
With Bailly, he's not good on the ball, and he's very erratic for me. And he doesn't read the game well as well, because Eric Bailly, did you see the second goal he conceded against Atalanta?
That was on Eric. The second goal, was that the one where it was offside? No, not offside, sorry. Is that when Maguire
there was a VAR check, and then after that Maguire started stupidly raising his hand before running. I have no idea why defenders do that. Like, when you raise your hand, you slow down your run. If he didn't raise his hand, he could have maybe caught up with Zapata.
Mate, honestly, he's slow regardless. But the thing is with Maguire, he was the reason. I think that was all on Maguire's fault, the second goal, because he was keeping the guy onside.
No, Maguire and the other 3 defenders were roughly in line, but Bailly was out of position. He was too far forward and he lost his man. I saw the VAR snapshot.
You know what it is with Eric Bailly, by the way? I kind of disagree with when you say he's not. I think he's actually pretty good on the ball to me. I think he drives with the ball well. I think I agree on you when you say he's erratic. Eric Bailly he's just crazy, man. Like he's a proper aggressive centre back. But the thing is, with Eric Bailly, I think he's pretty good on the ball. I think his recovery pace is amazing. I think he was probably our best player in that game. I can see where he was at fault with a few stuff in the game. Like he was at fault. I know he boots it away too much. Like he's very reactive, Eric Bailly. He's not proactive. Like
I agree.
He needs to calm down a little bit. But the thing is with Eric Bailly, he barely gets any game time though. And like he never gets game time. And you know what's funny as well? Like when obviously Varane was injured. The thing is with Varane, I actually think Varane is pretty good on the ball. I think he's good on the ball. He reads the game pretty well, and he's also quite fast. But Varane doesn't strike me as a defender that's aggressive. Obviously, he had Sergio Ramos next to him, who was like the aggressive centre back. So that's why I was thinking, if Bailly was fit, what would you think of a Varane and the Eric Bailly as a partnership? What would you think in that? Because you've got one aggressive, you've got 2 good ball playing centre backs, I think, and then you've got 2 who are really quick. And what do you think of that? Do you reckon that would work as a partnership, or do you prefer Varane and Lindelof?
It depends on, like, when you bring up Ramos as an aggressive centre back.
Yeah.
You getting an aggressive top centre back at the best level is very, very rare. Like, in recent history, the only maybe 2 that I can think of are probably Vidic and
Vidic, yeah.
Ramos. But you look at the other centre backs in the league. Let's just use the Premier League for an example. You've got Van Dijk, who is probably the epitome of composure. And you've got Matip, who isn't rash.
Underrated, Matip is.
Yes, he's very underrated. And you've got Diaz and Laporte and Stones. All
Laporte,
three
I
of
like
them. I am a big fan of Laporte as well. All three of them are very calm and composed players. And I mean, I know John Stones does make his occasional stupid mistake. But he in general is a very composed player. He used to be called the Barnsley Beckenbauer, for fuck's sake. He's very, very composed. And then you've got Chelsea, you've got Thiago Silva. Rudiger is a bit of a madman, like Bailly.
He's like Bailly,
yeah. And you've got Christensen or Chalobah, who are very composed players.
They are, yeah.
So out of the however many centre backs are named, probably 8 centre backs from 3 teams, you've only got one player that is like Eric Bailly. I believe that it will be more practical and more efficient if you use Lindelof as Varane's partner, because Lindelof is such a calm player, and
I think he's underrated personally.
I do think he's very underrated. You put Lindelof in Serie A and he's going to become one of the best centre backs in the world. Serie A, La Liga, or any league that isn't like as physical.
Because the Premier is physical.
Just play Champions League football. Reminds me of, he's not as good or anywhere near as good as Daley Blind, but these are very similar kinds of players. Daley Blind's ripping it up in Champions League now as well.
Oh yeah. I can't believe we sold him.
His performance against Dortmont.
Yeah, he would. I can't believe we sold him. By the way, who was it that sold him? Was it Mourinho?
Mourinho.
Oh, he's got.
You see the things that are leveled at Daley Blind, they're all leveled at Victor Lindelof. They always claim he's too slow. They claim he's weak. But when you look at what Daley Blind and Lindelof to a lesser extent contribute to the team's efficiency, the way they keep the ball ticking, the way they're always available to play a long outlet ball to Rashford or something.
Yeah.
And their reading of the game, it's all fantastic.
He is, man. He is. Because you know, it was with Lindelof as well. How many times is he always doing that pass to Rashford?
Exactly. He's got like 5-6 assists just from that. Lindelof used to be a number 10.
Oh, did he? What?
Yeah.
Actually. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
If I'm not wrong, he used to be a number 10.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because the thing is with Lindelof, by the way, obviously there is this one criticism that I think Mourinho said that Lindelof, that he's a good centre back, but everyone knows that he's not good in the air. He's not good when it comes to, because I've seen he gets bullied too much. Not Maguire. I mean, he gets bullied as well, but Lindelof is the one that gets bullied too much for my liking, which is why. Thing is with Lindelof, maybe we've tried him next to Maguire. You know, he's supposed to be the physical one, Maguire. We've tried that, but he's just too slow. They don't really complement each other well. But the thing is with Varane, he's got good recovery pace, he's good on the ball, he reads the game well, but he's not necessarily the most. I know he's 6'4", he's the same height as Lindelof, but he doesn't strike me as a aggressive, amazing, like when it comes to like one-to-one with a striker, if you know what I'm trying to say. Like
if you've seen Varane play for us and throughout his career, he's probably, Van Dijk aside, the closest thing you'll get right now to Rio Ferdinand. I know he isn't exactly as good as Rio Ferdinand, but the way Varane is so composed and reads the game so well, he's the type of player that I would personally believe that we should build a back 3 around instead of 100%. Playing a back 4.
100%.
When you look at the personnel of this team, are we best suited to playing a back 4?
No, I wouldn't say so. I would say we're more suited to a back 3, if anything.
I mean,
that's why. Yeah,
there are variations of back four formations that definitely would look brilliant with this team. But in the way that Oli wishes for us to go forward, wouldn't it be more prudent to use a back three, because he has to fit in so many different players now? Because
Exactly. Because
and
you've
like
got so many people that can play the centre back role. Because obviously you're going to need 3 centre backs. You can play Varane there, you can play Lindelof there, and you can even try and play Luke Shaw as a left-sided centre back because he's played that role quite a few times. And think of Luke Shaw.
He does look really good at left centre back.
I genuinely feel like Luke Shaw, that's his best position, because he reads the game quite well defensively, and he can also, once he's got the ball, he can drive with the ball as well. Once he's a good ball carrier, so it's good to have that in a centre back role. Like Luke Shaw, like I give him a lot of stick here just because of his application, but I'm not going to doubt the guy's ability on the ball. Like he's got the talent, man. Like you don't buy him for 30 million from Southampton, which was a long time ago, by the way. 30 million.
British record for a teenager.
Yeah. You know, 30 million
defender.
Yeah, 30 million when we bought Luke Shaw is equivalent to a 60 million pound defender right now. So So like that's why for me with Luke Shaw, maybe like a left-sided centre back, and maybe put Varane and Lindelof, and then you've got Tellers and Dalot as the wing backs. But you're not. Are you a fan of Dalot, by the way?
I do like Dalot.
Okay, because there's a lot of people that I don't know why, because there's a lot of people that are willing to give Wan-Bissaka like a chance and a chance. Obviously, like, oh, he's good defensively, but he will get better going forward. But I don't know why there's this notion that Dalot, oh, he's not good enough completely. Like people, they're not giving him a chance. Like he's what, 20, 21 years old.
You know how everybody is calling for Donny to get more games despite not having seen much of him.
Exactly, yeah.
That's like the Dalot situation.
It's the same with Tellers as well. Like Tellers and Dalot should be playing. You know what it is? Before, you know, the reason we bought Tellers was because Luke Shaw, like, he wasn't really doing well. So that, but the thing is, Luke Shaw, he reacted. Whereas with
I actually didn't think that Luke Shaw was playing bad. I've always rated Luke Shaw pretty highly.
Yeah.
Because you could always see, like, there's this, when you look at footballers, there's sometimes when you can see that certain players just have that balance and ability about them.
Yeah.
Whereas with someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, if he ever has a monstrous season,
yeah,
I would say he's completely changed my mind. But with Luke Shaw, I've always rated him really highly, and I thought he's a really good player.
The thing is with Dalot, like, I reckon Dalot, he just needs to be given more chances in the wing back role, because obviously we played him against Villarreal, I think, and then he was against Danjuma and he got absolutely destroyed. We all know Dalot defensively is not the best, but I'm telling you,
wasn't Greenwood playing in front of him?
He was playing, yeah. So he was basically obviously Greenwood's
he's getting 2-on-1 every single time.
Exactly. Could you say the same thing with Luke Shaw, by the way? Because if you've got Rashford and Mason as the wings, and both of them like to drift in, then then the fullbacks are just going to be left isolated by themselves.
Exactly, and as long as at any level, a 2-on-1 situation is always not favorable for the defender. Exactly. It's just common sense. You know that when you're 4 or 5 years old, if you have got more players than the other team in a certain area, you are definitely going to have an advantage. So 100%. I don't believe Dalot is that bad defensively, but I do believe going forward, he has tremendous potential. The way he goes past players, and when he crosses, I'm not saying he's as good or ever will be as Beckham, but he has this move where he swings his body just to get a bit of space and then whips in across.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. That's similar to what Beckham used to do.
Because you know with Dalot, by the way, he does the skill, by the way. He always does the skill when he beats a man. He does like a step over, then he goes to the right.
Yeah, he does step overs, and then after that he shifts his body. But the thing about Dalot is that he can play on the left as well, because he's very two-footed. He played on the left for Inter Milan in some AC Milan, sorry, in some games.
I rate him, Dalot. I think Dalot is. I think he's a great player, man. He's got great talent, and
I do agree.
Like you said, he's versatile, man. He can play on the left, he can play on the right. He's a really good player to have, man. And I think he should.
I do believe Dalot can play on the wings as well.
You think he can play as a right winger?
Right wing or left winger? Maybe not
Okay.
left winger, but definitely as a right winger.
I understand what you're trying to say because he's good enough on the ball. He's got a good cross on him. I've never really seen him shoot, so I'm not sure about that. But he's good. I've not really seen much of him in terms of link-up play, like how he's interchanging with some of the players. But he probably has that in him. Because I don't know if you heard about this. No, like I think Ancelotti was top. He wanted
Oh
that.
yeah, I was about to say that as well.
Yeah. So
About
obviously,
Ancelotti thinking that he could be the best fullback in the world. I think Romano said that himself.
do you know why that's a good thing to look at and to keep saying? Because people are going to say, "Oh, it doesn't matter, like if he's got talent and stuff like that." But the thing is, with Ancelotti, he can see a player because have you seen him? What he's doing to Vinicius Junior, by the way.
Yeah,
like for me, initially,
I thought Vinicius was crap. Now
genuinely thought he was
Ancelotti has completely transformed him.
I genuinely didn't. I didn't really think Vinicius Junior was any good. I just thought he was. Oh, if he wasn't Brazilian, he wouldn't be getting
I thought
this.
He was a Brazilian Rashford.
Oh, Brazilian. Honestly, man. But like watching this guy play, by the way, Vinicius Junior, he's added the end product. He's a pretty skillful player. He can beat a man. His finishing's improved. He's just. I didn't see this under Zidane. Whereas with Ancelotti, he's just made his game go up a level. And now he's amongst one of the best youngsters in the world now. You have to give him his credit. He's up there now. He's up there with Ansu Fati, with the likes of Foden.
Did you see that? Did you know that Pirlo was converted from a number 10 to a deeper player by Ancelotti? They thought Ancelotti at that time was crazy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because Pirlo, as he got older, he played more of the number 6 role because he was initially like an 8.
Yeah, once Ancelotti came in to AC Milan, I believe he converted Pirlo into a deep lying playmaker.
Ancelotti is a top coach, man. Like, this is why I think when people were saying, "Oh, he's joined Everton because he's finished," I would have loved Carlo Ancelotti at Man United. Like, you've seen what he did with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You see, like,
Calvert-Lewin looks a top player now.
Oh yeah. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is proper underrated, man. Like, his hold-up play is good.
I agree.
He bullies defenders. I think he's probably the best in the. Actually, you've got Ronaldo, and Ronaldo's probably the best, but I think he's probably second best when it comes to.
Apart from Ronaldo, I can't think of any other striker who's better in the air than
his leap.
Calvert-Lewin.
His leap and his heading ability is insane. Maybe Calvert-Lewin's finishing with his feet isn't the best, but in the air he's a menace, man.
He's more of an old school number 9.
He is an old school number 9. Yeah. I was gonna say yeah. He is an old school number 9. But obviously with the go on. Sorry, go on. No, go on.
He's the only reason why he isn't in the England starting 11 now is because of Harry Kane. If not for Harry Kane, he'd be an automatic starter. Either him or Danny Ings.
Danny Ings is a good I think Danny Ings is a better finisher than Calvert-Lewin with his feet.
Yes, Danny Ings is deadly. His goal record speaks for himself. He played for Southampton and he's constantly in and amongst the top scorers in the league.
He is, man. He is. But I wanted to talk about obviously in the Atalanta game with the like who impressed you and who do you think like what do you think of do you reckon with Oli he's going to play this formation, this 5-back formation for the rest of the season, or do you reckon now that Varane's injured he's going to revert back to the back 4? What do you think? What were your thoughts in the game? Who impressed you and who do you, obviously you can talk about the Atalanta because for me Zapata. He was moving crazy. I thought he had a few chances. He could have scored a hat-trick in that game because I don't think Atalanta were clinical. The thing is with Atalanta, whenever they score against us, they never capitalize on us. They wait until we get the lead. And obviously, you've got Ronaldo always saving all his job as per usual. Because I don't think we played well against Atalanta. I think Atalanta were better on the ball. They just didn't finish their chances.
I was very impressed by ILLICIC of Atalanta. Zapata was a handful for the defense the whole night. They couldn't deal with him. He was a constant threat, and I was very impressed with Demiral in the first leg.
He used to be at Juventus, he's a good centre back.
Yeah.
Good centre back, yeah.
He made a brilliant tackle on Rashford, one of the best I've seen in ages. And the goalkeeper's distribution was very impressive. Apart from that, I mean, Zappacosta didn't pull up any trees. He did have a okay game, I guess. Everyone else was all right.
They were missing a.
Golson's is injured.
Yeah, he's like one of the best.
Golson's tore it up at the Euros.
Oh, him and Spinazzola in the Euros were insane. Obviously, you've got Luke Shaw as well. But he's a great wing back, man. I thought that they missed him so much. Because the thing is, when you talk about Ilicic was obviously he scored the goal, but I don't know, man. I expected that. Obviously, I think De Gea has been one of our best keepers this season. Best keeper. I think he's been one of our best players. Sorry, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know what happened with that shot. Like, what you just lost concentration, or there was too many plays. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
I've got no idea what happened with the shot as well. Like, I think it just went through Wan-Bissaka's legs. He either fumbled it or he got wrong-footed or something. I don't know. It looked like such a shit goal to concede.
I know, man. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I just hope that obviously with De Gea, like he's not been the. Last season he had a pretty decent season. That's like
he was all right last season. This season his distributions improved massively.
Well, his distribution, his distribution, I think, in the Atalanta game was quite poor. Like he gave it away quite a few times.
I agree. After the mistake, it started to. Like at the start, before the mistake, it was steady, very good. But after the mistake, it just started going downhill. I'm worried that his confidence may be affected by that.
All right, okay. Yeah. What do you think of? Obviously, we're going to be touching on Pogba. What do you think of his performance? Obviously, he's got a red card. I think the last game he played for us was against Liverpool. Obviously, he's been getting a lot of hate as per usual. That's what you get with the top Reds. I'm not just defending him because he's my favorite player, but he had a poor game. I know that, but I feel like for me personally, there's too much focus on Paul Pogba, but not enough focus on Maguire and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I feel like Pogba is becoming. I don't know why, man. Like, obviously, he's not been playing well for the past few games now. Obviously, at the start of the season, like the first few games, he was doing pretty well. Obviously, he was playing in the left wing role. He was playing further forward. But then, as soon as Rashford got back, he reverted Pogba back to playing in the DM. So I don't know, man. The thing is with Pogba, like I said before, he does have this tendency of when it comes to holding onto the ball too much, he tries to, like Scholes said it, like he relies too much on his physicality. But he's a strong player, but I feel like players have figured that out now. And obviously he might lose concentration sometimes. And I don't know, man. I feel like, because also Scholes, he said that, I don't know what you think when he said this point, but he said Pogba's always going to be playing like this. He's always going to have that lack of concentration. He needs proper experienced players around him. I don't know what you think, whether you agree or whether like what your stance is with Pogba.
I thought Pogba was dreadful, but I don't believe he was the worst player on the pitch.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
I believe the worst player on the pitch was Rashford, who's getting even less hate than Maguire,
100%.
Pogba, or anybody else. McTominay as well. Rashford's not getting any criticism for his abysmal performance. And usually, like, it's because he scores a goal or gets an assist, which covers up that his bad performance up. But
that's a fact.
I don't think he got an assist. It was Bruno and Greenwood who got the assist.
Oh yeah, Mason. Yeah, Mason Greenwood made a good impact when he came off the bench.
And you know the thing about the goal, it wasn't even supposed to be allowed. Like,
because he handballed
it. Yeah, he handballed it into his own path.
Oh yeah. I've seen the video where he handballed.
This rubbish about handball shouldn't be given because they're accidental. Most handballs are accidental. You don't get a player unless they're trying to make a goal line save or something, like what Suarez did against Ghana in the 2010 World Cup. They're mostly accidental. So I don't understand how that goal got allowed.
Like, I also remember, like, I don't know why that goal was given to Bruno. It was a great finish from Ronaldo, but I don't know how that was good. Because you know, in the first goal, I'm not sure, but I think was Pogba involved in that first goal, because I think he was quite. I remember
he was involved. He came in from the left. He played a pass to McTominay. McTominay looked to the right. There was no pass on. Then he passed it. He turned it infield and passed it to Bruno. Bruno gave it to Ronaldo.
Mason.
No, he gave it to Ronaldo first.
Wasn't Mason involved though when Mason made the pass to Bruno?
Yeah. Then after that, Ronaldo gave it to Greenwood.
And
Mason passed it infield brilliantly to Bruno, who took a touch and backheeled it for Ronaldo.
I was surprised when Bruno did that, by the way. I didn't know he had that in his game. You know, when his awareness around, like, I thought he was just gonna boot it, like, as he always does.
For me, I believe Bruno has world-class vision, but the execution and the ability to understand when to attempt those passes is completely non-existent. Like, you see him, like the pass against Ronaldo for the first Spurs goal, I believe. That was brilliant. The pass for, was it Young Boy?
Younger Boy,
outside of the foot. Yeah. What a ball. And he was like, his view was blocked by two Young Boys defenders as well. And a lot of the passes he attempts are actually like trying to go for the spectacular, but he doesn't understand when to play. Exactly, and he's not got the technical ability to pull it off on a regular basis. It's so rare. Most of his assists are just off simple passes.
You know what it is with Bruno? This is my take on Bruno Fernandes. I didn't actually think about it like that. His execution when it comes to the passing, he doesn't really. It's different, man. It's not like, obviously when you look at Kevin De Bruyne, you look at Paul Pogba, the way how they execute the pass. Like Kevin De Bruyne is more. It's on a perfectly weighted pass. There's even when Kevin De Bruyne mishits a pass, you can see the intent in that pass. You can see what he was trying to do. It was just whiskers away. Whereas with Bruno, he kind of passes the ball like he wants to fight the ball. do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Bruno goes for more so goes for power over placement. Even 100%. When he finishes, you can see that. And 100%. Bruno is a brilliant finisher. His finishing, like when he crosses. No, I shouldn't say finishing because I've seen him play some shots well. But when he crosses, like I've seen him boot crosses into rosette, and like sometimes his the way he hits balls are just, I don't think it's very ideal. I'm not sure he's the professional footballer, not me, but I compare it to someone like you said, Pogba or De Bruyne or Toni Kroos. The way they hit the ball is it looks different from what Bruno is doing.
Sorry, go on.
Players like Pogba and KDB, Kroos, all those, I noticed that their balls have more backspin on them. Whereas Bruno's one just feels like it's just bobbling in the air. It's like not very firm or well weighted. It's more so like just hit into a certain area and just pray.
Bruno Fernandes. The thing is with Bruno, like when it comes to, I feel like with Bruno, like you said, like he's a good passer of the ball. It's just his execution of how he delivers that pass, like you said, which is a good point.
I don't actually believe he's a very good passer of the ball.
Neither do I.
His technique isn't like
Ozil. Look at Ozil, for example.
Yeah, Ozil made his name off making simple passes and just in the right moment when the time was right.
Yeah,
he would play a world-class ball, which resulted in a simple tap-in. Whereas so many of Bruno's assists are just passing it to someone who beats 5 men and then after that score.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Like,
you know what it is, by the way?
Yeah.
With Bruno Fernandes, like, I know people talk about his chance creation and stuff like that, but for me, my opinion when it comes to this chance, I think chance creation, the stat is very misleading, because a chance creation could be you taking a corner or you taking a free kick and you crossing it, or a chance creation can count as, for example, like, let's say, for example, I gave you the ball and then you shoot. That counts as a chance creation. I just don't really believe in that. I don't believe in that chance creation nonsense thing. I just think there's a bunch of BS with that stat, man, with that stat. So I don't really look into it too much with that whole thing. But for me, with Bruno, like, he's a very confusing player. Like, he's got weird attributes, like, not weird attributes. Like, he's got an attributes of a number 9 in terms of, like, he makes the runs in behind. He's a good finisher, but then he can play them passes. But I just don't know if he's got the technical ability to play in a midfield 3, because you've seen it for Portugal. I don't think his game is disciplined. I think he wanders off too much. So I don't know where his best position is, man. For me personally, I don't know if he can play that number. He's a quite energetic midfielder, by the way. Like he will
A
close
very
someone down.
energetic player. His
So
work rate is superb.
For me, Bruno Fernandes should always be behind Paul Pogba. I think Paul Pogba is the one that should be receiving all the freedom because he's the one that lacks that defend, like that tracking back, for example. Or he does work well with Pogba in a pivot too. Like obviously he plays with Tchouaméni, plays with Kante for France. Like he can play that defensive role. But like you said, he literally said in an interview that I can't defend. So I just personally feel like we're using Bruno Fernandes. It may look nice on the stat sheets that he's getting all these assists and goals, and it's looking nice. But in terms of, if we capitalize Bruno's game properly and just put him in a system, I think it will benefit the team a lot more, and then you'll see better performances with him.
On the subject of comparing Bruno to other good number 10s like Ozil, you compare them. You look at the number of assists Bruno gets, it is comparable to Ozil. But Ozil had a 10% higher pass accuracy. Does that not tell you that Bruno is just trying and trying and trying to make a worldy of a ball, while Ozil is just playing the simple passes, waiting for the right moment. He waits for the right moment when the pass is on. That's literally the beauty of his game, because when he does something, it's just a piece of magic. Whereas with Bruno, when he keeps spamming these stupid balls, you're just like you aren't surprised when one goes off. It's like, as I told you the other day, I brought it up to you the other day. It's like buying every single ticket available for you at the lottery, and then people still get gassed up that you win it. It just makes no sense.
It's a good analogy, though. Yeah.
Phil Jones, if he tried 50 Hollywood balls per game, he's bound to get 1 or 2 assists on a regular basis.
Do you think that's the reason why Bruno doesn't do well in games, because he's got less of the ball?
In bigger games against better teams?
Do you reckon Bruno Fernandes doesn't thrive in big games? It's because obviously the other team will have more possession and he's going to have less of the ball. And usually, because
that's a big reason why he's not doing. He's playing the same, but most people think he's not doing well. But probably that's the reason why he doesn't get any good statistics apart from penalties in big games, because they just don't give him as much of the ball, I guess.
Who would you play in the number 10 position, by the way, in our team?
What type of number 10 are you looking for? Are you looking for like the kind of number 10 like Thomas Muller, the kind of number 10 like a Dwight York or Dennis Bergkamp, or
when it comes to number 10s, I'm just talking about like a.
If we are playing in a number 10 role, either be one of 3 players: Van de Beek, Martial, or Mata. Definitely not Bruno.
With Martial, you know what it is with Martial? He literally plays like he can always receive the ball in the half space. Like he will always drive with the ball. You can't take the ball off him because he's technically amazing. And you know what it is with people, what people like don't realize is that he's very strong, Martial. Like he protects the ball so well. You can't get the ball off him.
Did you see the piece of play against City where he shrugged off Rodri and Diaz, or the one against Leicester where he put Fofana and Ndidi in the body bag?
That is, and even against Leeds as well. The thing is with Martial, like I said, he's. I know you're a big fan of his, but I'm a big fan of Martial, obviously. But the thing is, I actually think playing him in a number 10 position is actually quite smart, because I remember it during that City game with Martial that the amount of times he initiated the attack and he gave it to like a Dan James or a Rashford, but they keep messing it up. Like his decision, Martial's decision making is elite. He may not have the Ozil pass or like the De Bruyne pass, but he knows when to give it, which is what you need in the big games, because you need to make the.
When you look at, Martial is more similar to someone like Dennis Bergkamp or Dwight York than someone like a Mesut Ozil or Kevin De Bruyne. Because when you look at Dennis Bergkamp, his game is built off simplicity, giving the ball into the fullbacks, then racing into the box, and then after that, trying to create some overloads there. That's exactly what Martial does. People lambast him for being lazy and not being in the box at times.
I hate that.
But how can he be in the box when he's putting the fullback or the winger in behind to put the cross in?
100%. I've had enough of this lazy. It really does annoy me when people call Martial lazy. Like, I understand his output last season wasn't very good, but I don't know, man. Like, one bad season, but you wanna sell him when you've got other players in that team who deserve to be sold. He's like, I think Martial is the least of our worries. I actually wanted to touch on Martial. Like, where do you think his best position is? Because for me, obviously, he scored his most goals, obviously coming from the striker position, but most of his goals always come off the left, you know, because he's got a great strike. So it's kind of confusing.
I do believe that if he played off the left, he would still get 20 goals at least, because he doesn't. Most of his goals aren't exactly tap-ins or service based.
No, they're not.
And if you remember the season where Jose bought Sanchez, before Jose bought Sanchez, Martial was averaging, he had 11 goals and, was it 10 or 11? 11 goals and 8 assists in 1990s with an average of 1.01 goals and assists per 90 off the left wing.
He was doing amazing. Last year then.
When he plays at number 9, it is really difficult with Martial because I genuinely cannot tell you what his best position is. I'd probably go with the left, but if you played him at 9, I'd still think he'd do a really good job there.
You remember his goal against Everton?
Yeah, it was off the left. I know you brought up to me.
Martial. Yeah.
Exactly. But the thing about him is that I would criticize him as well, in the sense that I'd like him to be more insistent on, like, I win the penalty, I take it, or like I'm the number 9. Just let me take the penalties, because last season his finishing was very, very poor. All good strikers, which is normal, all great strikers go through these drought, but a lot of these great strikers have one thing to fall back on: it's penalties. So like, you score a goal, you build confidence. It's
that season, like, I think the season where he got 17 goals on 23 in all competition, if he had taken penalties, the penalties, because I think he won about 7 penalties that season, he would have top scored he would have got the golden boot in that league.
If he'd taken all the penalties available, he would have scored 31 goals in the league.
100. Oh my god, 100%, man.
Which is the 4th highest of the decade, if I'm not mistaken. 4th or 5th.
You know what it is with Martial, by the way? Like you said, I think he's not demanding in terms of like, oh, I want this. Like, I want him to be more selfish.
I agree.
I want him to be more selfish.
Like, not in terms of it. I wouldn't want him to be more selfish in terms of his overall play, but with regards to his penalty and all that, I would like to see him take the initiative to take the penalty instead of 100%. Just giving it up so readily, because you see how unselfish he is. When he's one-on-one with the keeper, he's still passing it to the open man.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Always, because I remember he was doing that for France, where with Griezmann, like, he was 1v1 and he passed it to Griezmann. Like, he's such a team player, Martial.
And it wasn't like, you know, those like one-on-ones on the counter where sometimes those players slip you in.
Oh, 100%,
just to walk it into the net. It was just like a random passage of play where half the opponents were in their own box as well, and he was still passing it to the other player. And there was also in the Europa League, was it against Copenhagen or last? He dribbled past about 3 players and backheeled it to Mata, and Mata missed it.
He was doing amazing. What's it called? Martial back then. But the thing is as well, like, I think I disagree when people say to me, "Oh, he can't play the number 9 role." Like, I feel like I think the thing is with Martial, I think the reason why people say he can't play the number 9 role is because of he's like a different type of number 9. they're getting it confused because they want like a, like a Cavani striker, fox in the box who gets the headers. But the thing is with Martial, he can score them headers, by the way. His heading ability, like, he scored a lot of headers for us with United. He could score with his left.
Oh yeah, it's miles better than Rashford and Greenwood. It's nowhere near Cavani's and Ronaldo.
No.
But it's not bad. It's
movement.
decent.
I do think with Martial though, like, he might.
On the movement topic, I wouldn't, because he's never been playing as an out and out number 9. He's always been like dropping deep to receive and all that. So like, I don't understand how he can be expected to make movements in the box when he's not even in the box in the first place. And if his movement isn't good, and the coaches can see that in the training ground, and they wanted a number 9 who's going to bang in goal, what was the point of going through all this hassle of buying Cavani,
100%.
buying Ronaldo, when
I don't know why we
Lukaku? You had Lukaku.
You could just tell that this club has no direction. They don't know what they're doing. I feel like they just go for the obvious signings. And look at this guy. Look, big up Double H. Ronaldo is the GOAT. I disagree, but fair enough.
Ronaldo's not the GOAT, Double H.
But that's thanks Double H for saying that, because I actually wanted to touch on Ronaldo before we finish. The thing is with Ronaldo, by the way, people are obviously with me, like, I just don't think like Ronaldo. He's the best goal scorer of all time. You can't discredit that. He's amazing. Like, he strikes the ball really well. His movement is pretty good. He's amazing in the he's an amazing number 9. But in terms of like his all-round game, that's where I have an issue with it. I just don't think he offers us much because the thing is, once we come across a big team like a Liverpool or a City or a Chelsea, I don't be surprised if Ronaldo doesn't do anything, because with Ronaldo, we're not going to do much with the ball as a team against the big ones. So I don't know, man. With obviously he came clutch in the Champions League. I think he saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer about how many?
He really is Mr. Champions League.
He is Champions League, man. I think, isn't he the top scorer of Champions League? Like, he's the top scorer, right, of all time.
Probably is. He probably is the top scorer of the Champions League.
He is amazing.
But when you play a bigger team, there's also the argument that if you get one chance, you'd rather it fall to Ronaldo than Cavani. But then there's also the argument that Cavani's work rate and his pressing and all that kind of stuff is more beneficial to the team in a big game when you're going to be under the cosh more. So it's really tough. But for me, in a big game, I just stick Anthony Martial as 9, because out of all 3, his hold-up play is by far the best. And he can produce... It's either between him or Ronaldo to produce a moment of magic, or... And I do believe as a finisher, apart from last season, Martial is better than Cavani in terms of finishing. Like, statistically and on the eye. Like, statistically, Martial was I think he was a better finisher than Ronaldo and Messi at one period of time. Like, if you just go off statistics, not off the eye test, but like statistically. But
I understand what you're saying.
When Martial holds the ball up, he often gets fouled. You notice he gets fouled a lot, right? He's probably the most fouled player in our team.
100% he is, because you can't get the ball off him.
When you foul him, you give your defense time to set as well. Reset, get into position, like take a break. Like, I don't know. It's just like all the best wins that we've had against the big teams. I don't think Martial's missed many. Like,
but you know what's a shame as well? Like, what's annoying is that even though Ronaldo might not be amazing when it comes to holding up the ball and getting plays, and he might become a passenger sometimes, but obviously he comes up with those clutch moments. But it's such a shame that you've got Ronaldo in your team, who's a clutch player you can rely on in the big games, but as a team, we don't help him at all as a team, because if we had a coach that got the best out of this team, then Ronaldo he could win something big this season. Like he could potentially win. I know he didn't win something. Juventus obviously tried to do that with Ronaldo and win the Champions League, and it didn't fail. But you could give him. You can make a case that the team wasn't the best around him, and he didn't really have the players. He had Chiesa, who was amazing. Dybala is hitting
a top player.
Chiesa is a very top player. Like Chiesa, he's going. I reckon he should move to get the recognition he deserves, because I don't know. I feel like Juventus is just too boring. Like it's just a boring team. I find them really not interesting. So I reckon if he makes a move to like a Madrid, Barca, or any big team, he would be in the Haaland discussion with Mbappe and stuff like that.
Maybe. I do think that we bought Ronaldo. There's no point in us buying Ronaldo because we are expecting him to do something he's never been doing. Like, you know how fans expect Ronaldo to press?
Oh, yeah. They love that press.
Do you expect someone who's 36 to press when he wasn't doing it when he was 18? It's so stupid. And
we have a stupid fan base, by the way. Like our fan base,
I agree.
I think their ball knowledge is it scares me. It really does scare me, because I feel like they don't. I think to please them, all you need to do is just run a lot, and then you're good to them. Like they don't look into our fan base is like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They don't really look into the intricacies of football. It's all about passion and desire, which is why they're singing Ole's at the wheel, because he says them words, and the top Reds, they love it. Passion and desire. They love them words.
I can't believe how thick some top Reds are, and they think that we should be backing the manager. Does it not give you a clue of how inept he is when your biggest rivals are singing Ole's at the wheel at a game where they're not even playing United? It's just some random Champions League game that they're playing against Atletico, and they're just singing Ole's at the wheel.
I don't blame them, by the way. We deserve this. In terms of like we deserve this this banter, because we've been giving it all on Twitter. But hey, I just
and you've got these deluded fans who think every player we have is the best at whatever position they play. They were comparing Rashford to Mbappe. They were comparing who else? They were comparing Maguire with Van Dijk, and I can go on. Wan-Bissaka with Trent Alexander-Arnold.
That's when I hear them, like you look at what Trent's doing now, like, and you look at Trent, look at Cancelo, like even Reece James, like them three fullbacks, and Hakimi for PSG. That's what you call a proper fullback.
Exactly.
Not Wan-Bissaka, man. Nah. Respectfully, Wan-Bissaka ain't good enough. He's not good enough. Because I wanted to touch on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, by the way, but real quick. Do you reckon that obviously Conte's gone? He went to Spurs. But do you think, let's say we get destroyed by Man City 5-4-0, another battering, or 3-0, 4-0, do you reckon his job is still safe during international break, or do you reckon, because the board, they said that they were going to make a decision with the next two games. Obviously, we drew against Atalanta, and then the City game we don't know. Or do you think they're just lying, just to appease, like just for lying's sake, I guess? Like, do you reckon his job is safe for the rest of the season? Because if it is, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I'll probably stop watching football, like not football, but United games, until Ole is sacked if he's not gone by the international break.
I'm gonna have to join.
I'm fed up with Ole as a manager. He's so out of his depth. Did you see this clip of him asking Luke Shaw what his thoughts were on changing the formation mid-game?
Oh, I've seen that on Twitter. I thought I was dreaming when I saw it. I was like, I had to rewatch the video again to see if it was true. But I don't think people realize how much of an idiot Solskjaer is, because there was also another interview saying they tried to one of them asked, what is the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer way? Do you know what he said? He said,
what?
Free-flowing football, individual brilliance, and quick transition play. So basically what he's saying is counter-attack and a moment of brilliance from Pogba or Bruno or Ronaldo. So he didn't really, he just broke down elements of, like, I don't know, that's not really a style of play. You're talking about in transition, like what's your actual philosophy? Look at Pep, look at Klopp. You don't know what you're getting with Ole, and I don't understand why he's still at, like, I've never seen this much protection from a manager. Like, I can name you about 20 to 30 times he should have been sacked. And the fact he's still here, man, like, we're going to waste another season. We're going to lose. I reckon we're going to lose some of our important players, and then we're gonna probably need another rebuild by next season. But do you think he's like, let's say we get beat by City quite badly and it's another embarrassment, do you reckon they'll make the move?
No. I don't think they will.
Because obviously Zidane's still out there, but he doesn't really strike me as someone that wants
He doesn't
to join.
want to. There's no really appealing interim or manager we can get right now. I'd rather just keep Ollie. We're just gonna get in Darren Fletcher as the interim. Not having
honest,
another.
Bro, like, I don't want any ex-players, but I don't want to see Ollie again. Like, I don't want to see his face anymore. Like, even
so
if they gave it to
Darren Fletcher, you take Darren Fletcher as interim and watch us go on one good run, and he gets a 3-year deal. Rather him just wait until the end of the season and just bye.
Actually, I don't know, like interim man. Like, how can you say? I don't know, man, because surely if we get battered again, even though there's no managers out there, could you give it to Laurent Blanc? What's he doing now? Like, I don't know if they could give it to Laurent Blanc.
We have to buy him out of a contract at Qatar, and from what I've never ever seen any bit of Qatari football.
Neither.
But Xavi is earning more in Qatar than what he's earning at Barcelona, so Blanc should be on a pretty massive contract as well.
That's painful to hear, that the fact that we could potentially get destroyed by Man City and he still might be here, and then 2 weeks we're gonna have to, then we've got two weeks of international football, and I would, even though I despise international football, it would make my 2 weeks if just knowing that Ollie's been sacked, like I can rest easily now, like just relax knowing that he's gone. But I don't know. I just feel like we're stuck with him for the rest of the season, because you've also got reports talking about Pochettino next season, like that PSG might make a move and just wait it out with Poch, and then maybe give it to a Zidane or something. So I don't know how true the rumors are, because with Pochettino, I think he wanted the United job 100%, but because we were faffing about and dilly-dallying too much, he didn't want to wait. So he was like, you know what? Let me obviously improve my CV, get a few trophies in my hand, go to PSG, and then maybe come back to United. I don't know if you think Poch will come, or what your thoughts on Pochettino? Like, could he potentially come to United?
Hang on, give me a second.
That's fine. Anyway, big up everyone that's been commenting, by the way. Big up. Because obviously you've got Poch, who you could wait for. Got Ten Hag. Graham Potter is an interesting one. That might be a bit too soon for him, but he's a top coach. You've got Zidane. You've got all these top managers, and I just, obviously watching the way how Ajax play, I would love Ten Hag at this club. Like, he would, he might need so many different players to play his style of football, because, like, could you imagine if he came and he brings in Daley Blind with him? Like, that would be so good.
Ten Hag?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be against bringing in Daley Blind, but I'm a massive fan of Daley Blind, but he's had 2 heart surgeries, so I'm not sure how well that will go. But I would love to see Ten Hag in a United.
He could bring Anthony alongside with him, by the way.
Anthony looks like a top player. He's going to be a top player.
He is amazing, by the way.
This other player, Ryan Gravenberch of
Dutch midfielder.
Yeah.
Amazing. I've seen him play.
He's
a good
got
player.
Similar attributes to Pogba, but possibly I haven't seen enough of him, but from what I've seen and from what I've seen of most Ajax players, his decision making may be even better, which is one of Pogba's biggest weaknesses at times. I wouldn't say
decision making with Pogba. Do you? I know what decision making means, but do you mean like he's too indecisive and he takes too long? Because his final third play.
I do agree with that. And sometimes he ignores he tries too hard to make a Hollywood ball, or he holds on to the ball for too long, or sometimes he just ignores the right option and just takes a shot. Now he stopped taking the shots. He used to do it a
think he should
lot.
be taking more shots personally. I don't know why Pogba doesn't take shots, because I think his shooting ability is absolutely amazing.
If you told me that if I could choose one of Bruno or Pogba to take those 4 or 5 shots per game from stupid distances,
I'm going
I'd choose
Pogba.
Pogba.
100%.
I don't get why they don't try and work it into the box instead. Like on the edge of the D, I don't mind them taking a shot or like from just outside the box. But some of the distances that Bruno's shooting from sometimes is just
outrageous.
so stupid. Like I've never seen a footballer with such limited, no, I wouldn't even say limited, without any semblance of ability. Like Bruno attempting such outrageous shots. It's not as if he's Paul Scholes or something. He's Bruno Fernandes. There's a reason why he was in Portugal until he was 24. And there was no club of actual pedigree, obviously Spurs are crap, who are in for him. He's just not. I don't understand who gave him the license to shoot from any distance or just ping random balls.
It's from the manager, obviously. It's from the manager, obviously. Like he tells him, because there was a press conference that I think Ollie was like saying.
Oh yeah, he said he told him to do it.
Like do what you want.
Could that be defending his player?
No, and like he was saying, do what you did like in Sporting or something like that. I don't know. It was just embarrassing. But anyway,
I can't be asked to listen to anything that Ollie says now. Did you see this video of Ollie not knowing that that Pogba was sent off against Liverpool and Cavani had to tell him there were only 10 men?
Because he tried to play 4-4-2.
Yeah.
There's
he
Ollie
told
guys.
Cavani, let's go to a 4-4-2. And Cavani said, how do you go to a 4-4-2 when you've only got 10 men? Just 3 minutes ago, Pogba was sent off.
Ollie is such an idiot.
I can't believe how stupid he is. Does he not hear the boos at Pogba? Or like, or does he not, was he just not watching the game? Is he watching, I don't know what Netflix series he's watching on his iPad.
That iPad, I want to go up to that iPad and smash it off him.
I do too. I would pay any fan any amount of money to just run over and steal his iPad and smash it in front of everybody. It's so frustrating. And what's Carrick listening to in his earpieces before the game as well?
You know what Carrick does, by the way, and McKenna? McKenna is he just sits down. Carrick, I don't know what he does. Like maybe it just bites his nails or something like that. I don't know. And then you've got Ollie, he just puts all the, I don't know, man. It's just, you know, when I look at Maguire, captain, he's Maguire, captain of Man United, and you've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Kieran McKenna, and you've got Darren Fletcher, and you've got bloody Carrick. That just screams incompetence. Like none of them can do their job properly. None of them. Bro, this club's finished. This club is going to be finished for a long time.
Have you seen the report on McKenna and Carrick actually being competent coaches? It's a very interesting report. Yeah. You know, the best 2 periods of Ollie's football, I'm sure you would agree, is the interim and the post-lockdown period.
Post-lockdown, yeah.
But in those 2 periods, it was Carrick and McKenna doing the coaching. And in every other period, it was Ollie and Phelan. And Carrick and Ollie and Phelan were doing the coaching for every other period, barring post-lockdown and the interim period. And Carrick and McKenna were the ones who suggested adopting a 3-5-2 formation, but Ollie and Phelan didn't want to. So, and Ollie was trying to get their players to press when they weren't working on pressing in training. So the players got confused. And there was another report which said that Ollie's version of pressing is just go forward to the nearest man. So there's no system implemented. It's just reacting to your surroundings.
That's just dude,
which
that's
is weird
crazy.
because even at like any basic level, once you cross the age of 16, you are kind of instructed on how to get like a press going, even though it's not the best coaching.
Yeah.
But you're still not that. That's just amateur coaching.
I
It's
agree.
not.
I agree. I think we've probably got the worst coaching in this setup in the league. But I actually, obviously, before we wrap it up, I wanted to actually talk about the player ratings. Obviously, just go through the players and tell me what you think. Obviously, 5. We'll say 5 is average, and then 4 is
Okay.
below average. And we'll say 10 was just amazing. So obviously, for me, with De Gea, I'll probably give him a 2.
2 for De Gea.
Yeah, I'll give him a 2, just simply because of the goal. I don't think he was proactive, but like he comes off his line really slowly. I love De Gea.
I do believe he needs to work on his sweeping ability.
His sweeping ability is poor. He's been very good this season, but Atalanta game he was horrible. So I'll give him a 2 because he wasn't below average or average. He was way below that for me. But what would you give him?
De Gea, probably a 3. If
3, okay. Fair enough. What about, okay, let's move on to Wan-Bissaka. What would you give Wan-Bissaka?
I thought Wan-Bissaka was
okay. I thought it was
okay. Yeah, he wasn't bad. I'd probably give him a 6.
A 6?
Nothing special.
Okay, I was going to give him a 4.
Are we giving it by their own standards, or because for his own standards, I do believe he had a decent game.
Oh, because his standards are quite low. Anything he does.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm still going to give him.
Or are you giving it based on like everybody else? Like,
I'm just going to base it on like you said, everybody else.
Then I give Wan-Bissaka a 5.
Okay, I'm going to give him a 4. What about who's the other one? Luke Shaw. What would you give Luke? For me, with Luke
5.
Shaw, I would give him a 4. I think he was below average.
Okay.
I think the wing backs were. The thing is, this wing backs would work a lot more with the right personnel. But because if you're playing with wing backs, you're meant to utilize them as much as you can. But I feel like we're not doing that. So I don't know, man. Like this formation, like it's just trying to do like what Conte's trying to do, but worse. But obviously, I think this is the worst player on the pitch. But I'm with Maguire. What are you giving Maguire? Because I'm giving him a 0.
I'm giving Maguire 2. I've got my 0 saved up for someone else.
I think I know who it is. Oh my god! Right, okay. I'll give Maguire a 0. For me, let's not rank Varane because he got injured, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought he played. He was all right, and
he was all right. Yeah. Another player that Ollie's rushing back because he's an idiot, but it is what it is, man. I'm not surprised. So who else was the centre back?
Bailly.
Eric Bailly. Okay, this is where it gets. I'm going to give Bailly a 7.
I'm giving him a 7 too.
Okay. Right, who did he play? Maguire. Yeah, that was it. Maguire.
McTominay and Pogba.
Okay, yeah, with McTominay, I think I'm going to give McTominay. What would you give McTominay? I'm trying to think.
He's probably not worse than Maguire, but probably give him a 3 or 4.
I'm going to give McTominay a 2. I'm going to give him a 2. Just simply because he was just ineffective. Now with Pogba obviously, I have to keep the same energy with Pogba. I'm going to have to give him a 2.
I was going to say Pogba 3 or 4.
I was going to say 3 simply because of like, he kind of got involved in the goal a little bit, but I don't know. I'm going to give him a 2.
McTominay was involved in the goal as well, though.
But the reason why I probably you know what? Because Pogba, I have high standards for Pogba, and even an average game for Pogba is probably like an 8 out of 10 for like another player in our team, because he's got like a lot of levels to go. So I'll probably give McTominay. I'll go back to McTominay. I'll give him a 3, and I'll give Pogba a 2. I think that's probably more fair.
I rank them about the same, to be honest.
The same. Yeah.
Yeah, about 3 or 4.
They were both, 3 or 4. They were both awful. Okay, now this is an interesting one. Bruno Fernandes. Now for me with Bruno, obviously we touched up on it. He got the assist, which was amazing play. But other than the assist, man, I thought he was bang average. I'm gonna probably give him 4. Yeah, a 4.
Wasn't an average 5?
Average was a 5, yeah.
Then he got an assist, and then you said he was average throughout the game. Then you gave him a 4.
Oh, but I thought he was below average. Below average.
Oh, okay. I go with a 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, now let's move on to your favorite player, Rashford. what are you giving
0. 0. He was terrible throughout the game. Let me read out this statistic to you.
Go on.
Of the past 5 games that he's played.
Okay.
Hang on, let me find it.
Take your time, man. Take your time. Honestly, man, like Rashford, man. You know what it is with Rashford? Because Maguire was so bad, and because I was just so annoyed with the whole game, I didn't realize how bad Rashford was now. Because I'm starting to remember it now a little bit. I'm starting to remember his game, and he was actually horrible. He was horrible in that game.
Okay, Rashford has played in Rashford's last 5 games. It was 1-1 before he came on, and 4-2 to Leicester after he came on.
Yeah,
it was 1-2 before he went off against Atalanta, and we won 3-2 after he came off. And he started versus Liverpool, and we lost 5-0. He was benched for Spurs, and we won 3-0. And it was 1-2 before he went off, and it became 2-2 after he left. So we've been far better without Rashford than with him this season. And Rashford's win rate, even last season, was lower than it was lower with than without him. So we were better off without Rashford. Whereas if you look at someone like Martial, our win rate is significantly lower without. There was a season where our win rate with Martial was like 78%, and without him was like 28%.
20 something. Yeah. You can tell.
Whereas we are better off without Rashford.
Yeah, I always said off the bench he would be a lot better. So what you're giving him a 0, right? Okay, for me, I'll give him a 1. I'll give him a 1.
Okay.
So who was the right winger? Who do we start off as the right
Greenwood?
Winger? Greenwood.
You could give him a rating because he was on for more than half a game.
Well, he was involved in the build-up play, but didn't he? Wait, he got subbed off. He got subbed on as soon as Varane got injured, right?
Yeah, so it was about half a game, slightly more than half a game.
So okay, I'll still give him a rating. I'm gonna probably give him a 5.
I'd give him a 5 as well.
Yeah, I thought he was average. Got involved in the play in the first goal. He didn't get the assist, but I think he was the one that gave it to Bruno, and then Bruno did the flick, and then Ronaldo scored. So I'll give him a 5. Now, Ronaldo. Okay, you know what? Because you're the guest, I'm gonna let you go first because this one's an interesting rating. What would you give him? Obviously, he got a brace, but
7. Either 7. Because I'd actually no. It depends because I give Ronaldo a rating based on what we bought him to do.
Score goals,
Score goals. So I'd probably give him an 8.
You give him an 8, okay.
No, because that's what we bought Ronaldo in for to do. So he's doing his job. But if we
trying to say,
base it on everything, if you compare it to everyone else, I'd give him a 7. But if we're judging him based on what he's meant to do, you can't be expecting a 36-year-old to be pressing or doing any of the donkey work.
Yeah.
So I'd give him 7, but he definitely did his job. And so basically, we couldn't really have asked for him to do much more.
So basically, you're saying goals-wise 8 out of 10, but performance-wise 4.
No. His performance was all right. He had a good performance. So 6 for his performance and 8 for his goals. But so I meet in the middle and give him a 7.
Okay, so you're trying to combine it and just see what you're going to give him as the overall. I'm probably going to give him a
because
7.
it's so hard to rate Ronaldo because
It is.
like it's even harder to rate than someone like Pogba, Martial, Sancho, or Luke Shaw, or Maguire, because like they are bought in to improve the team, but Ronaldo is just probably just bought in to sell shirts and just to score goals.
100%, I
Like
agree with you.
if you watch him at Juventus, you'd know he wasn't doing much in the build up or
He wasn't.
in terms of pressing or anything.
He was always on the end. He was always on the end of things, like scoring the headers, scoring the seconds.
And you probably won't, apart from maybe Lewandowski, you probably wouldn't want anybody else on the end of a chance than Ronaldo. So I'd probably give him 7.
Lewandowski, Cavani, all of them. Yeah. Right. Obviously, with the subs, because you can't really rate Donny van der Beek, Sancho, and Matt. Wait, did Matic come on? Did he come on? I think he did.
Matic came on and changed the game.
Yeah, Matic was quite good. Because I'm hearing loads of people that are saying, "Oh, Matic wasn't good." Like Matic was good, man. He did pretty well. And obviously, Donny van der Beek
changed the game.
He almost won us the game, Donny van der Beek.
Van der Beek's cameo was so promising. Every single time I've seen Van der Beek, I'm so impressed by Van der Beek.
He's always been involved in the build-up plays, by the way, because I remember where he came on. Do you remember the goal where we scored against Newcastle, where Bruno just hit it top right?
Yep.
And then it was Mata, Donny van der Beek,
Rashford, and Bruno. What a finish that was.
Donny van der Beek is an absolute exceptional player. Like, I think Donny van der Beek is probably our most disciplined midfielder in the team. He's a lot more disciplined than Pogba. He's a lot more disciplined than
I wouldn't say he's more disciplined than Matic. I think he's the most intelligent midfielder.
Oh, yeah.
Apart from if you class Mata as a midfielder.
Mata's a. You know what it is with Mata? It's unfortunate with Mata because his technical ability is absolutely amazing, and his Chelsea year where his assists. Oh my God, he was so good for Chelsea, and I just feel like we completely utilized him the wrong way by trying to play him as a right winger. Like I remember there was a game where we played him as a number 10, but he played it for 70 minutes. I think it was against Chelsea, by the way. He was he was amazing as the number 10. It's annoying, man, because he's literally your traditional number 10. Mata is such a good player. Like I remember. Go on.
The thing about Mata, in one of his years with Chelsea, he got 55 goals and assists. 54.
It's amazing.
But he did that on 87.5% pass accuracy.
That's even more impressive.
Bruno's getting less goals and assists, or more than 10% less passing accuracy.
Yeah.
And he scores more pens. I can't understand how stupid this fan base is when they bang on about Bruno being the savior. There's a reason why he's trophyless at 26, 27.
He is trophyless, by the way. He's not won a trophy in his career.
I think he's won like some farmer's trophy, but it was off a penalty shootout.
All right. And because I'm pretty sure for Sporting, didn't they sell Bruno Fernandes and then they bought Pedro Gonzalez and then they won the league?
They sold Bruno Fernandes and went invincible.
Surely they
didn't just win the league.
Surely that can't be a coincidence.
Exactly. It's like you know how certain players, they leave the teams and they don't win anything. Like those teams don't win anything anymore once they leave.
Yeah.
Like I can say when Scolzi retired, we didn't win anything after that. We've never replaced Scolzi properly.
We didn't.
Even till this day.
We've not replaced half of the place properly.
Exactly.
Like it took us 10 years to get a right winger and Sancho, because it was Antonio Valencia or something like that when he was playing as a right winger, but obviously he was a right back. But I don't know, man. I just reckon that this season is going to be a long season, and then we just have to we're just going to have to wait and pray this year goes as quickly as possible, because we're not going to win anything this season. We're not going to win anything.
I think we could fluke an FA Cup.
I don't think even we can fluke an FA Cup, because you've got. I don't know if you can do that. Like the Oli tax is a big tax. Like, oh my day. Like if you
look at it in another way, the top of the Premier League is so competitive this year that they may just throw the FA Cup away just to chance winning the Premier League.
You know what it is crazy? We might not even get top 4, by the way.
I don't think we're getting top 4.
Because you've got...
Not if Conte does, because now you look at Spurs fixtures, they've gotten a lot of the hard games out of the way.
Yeah.
We've barely played anybody decent, and when we've played the decent teams apart from Spurs, we've been smashed.
Because you've got Arsenal, who are going to challenge for top 4 with 1 game a week. You've got West Ham. You've got Spurs, who have like an elite manager now. You've got Leicester. You've got West Ham. Who else have you got? You've got all these teams, and I don't know, man. Like, why risk it with Ollie, where top 4 could be at risk? But yeah. Anyway, it was an amazing show. Like, big up for coming on. Like, I think 1 hour and 45 minutes. That went so quickly. Oh my days. But yeah,
1 hour and 45 minutes.
1 hour and 45 minutes is always pushing to 2 hours, man.
Wow.
Obviously, big up the people that were tuning in and commenting. Like, big up to you, man. And obviously, yeah, I'm probably going to make another video tomorrow on the City versus United review. So obviously, if you're free, you're free to hop on anytime. Like, it was a good conversation, and yeah. Obviously, you've got Twitter as well, so you can pull your Twitter. You can tell your people your Twitter name, so they can follow
my
you.
My Twitter name is just...
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for getting me on, Ahmed.
No problem.
Yeah.
Great. I'll put my Twitter.
Great discussion.
Yeah, I'll put it in the description. But anyway, peace, people. We got.